Hey family, it's your girl Nick from the Combo with Nick and Pat. Join us for inspirational, thought-provoking, life-changing discussions on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on Fishbowl Radio Network and streaming across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See you on Wednesdays. Oh man, I was jamming. What's up, fam? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Nick. What's up, Pat?
What to do? We in this thing.
We in this thing. Tay, thank you so much. Thank you, Tay, on the ones and twos. Our extraordinary producer.
Yo, on the ones and twos.
Be hooking us up every week. What's up, fam? We hope y'all had a great week. It's Wednesday. We hope y'all got something out of last month. Because we did a little different. We talked about marriage and tradition and how people get stuck. And you can, even though we live in a today world, you can still have traditional values and traditional relationships and traditional marriage. You just have to talk to your partner about what that looks like, and y'all have to make that happen. So we hope y'all got some takeaways from last week. So Pat, what's up?
Next, I want you to take 4 gallons of water with you your next appointment.
Hey,
I want you to start the day before.
Don't nobody know about that.
I know about it. That's gonna be this is our inside conversation. Start the day before.
I did. I really did. 5
hours. Make no goddamn me sit somewhere all blank dasted date.
It don't. 5 hours. That's all I'm gonna say. 5 hours.
Man, what's up, Nick? What's up?
What's up? You and I had a conversation, and we talk about mental health quite often.
Gotcha.
We talk about mental health quite often, and we also talk about why mental health is important to just people in general. But the conversation we started having the other day really got me thinking. It really got me thinking because I started to think about the men in my village that I care about. And I started
speaking of that, before we get started, I'm just sidebar. He's on my heart. How's Bruce?
He good.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just letting you know he's on my heart. Yeah, he's on my heart. Yeah, he's on my heart.
Okay. We'll talk offline. The men in my village that I care about, that I have in-depth conversations with across the board, younger than me, my age group, older than me. What you said really struck a chord with me. And the reason it struck a chord with me is because I was taken back to high school when my advisor took his own, and we'll leave that there. But it came out why he did that. And the conversation you and I had, it struck me that fast forward, I've been out of school, 30 years? Whoosh, 40 years? 30 years? I can't do the math right now.
Just say a long time. Just leave it right there.
I've been out of school a long time. But the same stuff that caused him to go overboard is the same stuff the men in my village are dealing with now. And it makes me sad because despite there being open doors, despite there being places you can go for communication, despite there being ample resources at this juncture in time, the same thing that was happening then is still happening now. Our men are not seen, are not heard, are not understood, and then their perception is that no one cares. So tonight, family, we are talking about, if you can't already tell, men's mental health. And I know Men's Mental Health Awareness Month was last month, but we were already programmed. But I see mental health for men and women, boy, women, child, girl, as a everyday thing. But tonight, Pat and I wanted to discuss men's mental health. Pat.
Here's the thing. Whether we think it's healthy or not, it's a reality for so many men that we are often praised for what we achieve, how well we perform, but we're rarely taught how to express what we feel. We are able to articulate plans, strategies, financial goals, but men do not articulate or say things like, I'm disappointed in myself. Men don't say things like, I'm really afraid, I'm scared. It is hard for men to express that I'm feeling overwhelmed or I just don't know what to do. There is a such thing, Nick, and we talked about that, called an emotional vocabulary. And an emotional vocabulary is missing when it comes to men. It isn't something that we've always encouraged for men to develop. And one of the reasons why support is so difficult when men need it the most is because they don't have the vocabulary to actually speak it. And so because you don't have the vocabulary, so instead of you expressing what you feel or how you feel, you carry it silently. There's also this deep fear of how you will be perceived if you express that you're overwhelmed, you're afraid, you don't have the answer, you don't know what to do. And a lot of men quietly internalize that me expressing to those that I love that I am in this state, then they may not respect me. The truth is that as we privately deal with these struggles, this is the reason why it shows up in so many other ways that are unhealthy, like anger. There's a lot of men that are just angry. And not because they're angry men, but because they have so much unresolved, unhealed, undealt with trauma, irritability, withdrawal, emotional distance. Why do y'all think a lot of men, and I'm going to be honest and say this, why do y'all think, and can I just talk really candid?
Mm-hmm.
You and I both know, watch this, that porn is so easily acceptable. It's so easily to tap into porn sites and you can get it for free. You can get candidly just clad folk, no clothes, no anywhere. Why would you subscribe to OnlyFans? Why would you have I want you to know, because you have to understand that is a coping mechanism, that there is one particular somebody that you set your sights on, that you would pay her $20.99 a month to have access to her pictures and her videos, or that you would go to, believe it or not, there are some people that go to a particular club and want a particular dancer or a particular person. Y'all, it just doesn't show up in anger or irritability or emotional distance. It also shows up in coping mechanisms to literally numb the pain and to deal with it. And I'm saying it because it's more than just drinking. It's more than just smoking. It's more than just hanging out. It's more than just that. And while the suffering remains, it's hidden from those around you that love you because you've learned how to perform on autopilot. And there are so many things that we're going to discuss tonight that happens in men when you go and live your life with unhealed trauma. Because it shows up in so many different ways that many of you will probably be like, oh my God, that's what that is. And you're trying to figure out what's wrong with Clarence and what's wrong with Stanley and what's wrong with Stephen and what's wrong with Milton and what's wrong. And you are misdiagnosing them because the reality is they just have unhealed and unresolved trauma that they have never been able to effectively communicate.
I'm going to agree with that assessment. And I'm going to also, I'm going to add that not only is it not healed, but there are men that never realize that they have experienced trauma.
Wow.
And the reason I say that is because you can't heal what you don't know existed.
Now you know what is finna. Now you know what's finna happen. This is. I saw a picture the other day, and it explained a lot. There was a picture of a woman. It was two women standing in the rain. One woman was standing underneath an umbrella. And her umbrella, when she opened it up, the word husband was written across the top of the umbrella.
Because that's protection and
yes,
covering.
From the rain.
And from the rain.
And the woman that was standing next to her, that is completely soaked and wet, was looking at the woman with the umbrella, calling her a pygmy.
Because
Okay. So you know where I'm going.
mm-hmm.
3 things that we have to consider. Mothers, please stop teaching your sons to be abused by women and think it's acceptable. Please. And I'm going to tell you how that happens. But a lot of women teach their sons how to be abused in relationships with other women growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Here is a thing that we don't consider. And me and Nick talked about this. If you grow up in a house and typically you have 2 parents and you have a mother who was pretty much the predominant voice of the house, not because dad wasn't there, because I grew up in a house like that where I had a mother and a father, but my daddy wasn't around. So
you can either err but not be present.
Yeah. So, I mean, we didn't, but I need you to understand that women carry the voice of care and men carry the voice of justice.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you grow up in a house where the voice of care is the predominant voice, and you grow up in this house, ladies, and you desire when you get older to be a wife, ladies, and you want to marry a man, ladies, and you grew up where the voice of care was the predominant voice of the house and the voice of justice was silenced, then your brain is actually wired to silence the voice of justice in your husband. It'll sound like this, and we've talked about this before. It's amazing to me how a woman can submit the greatest part of herself to a man, and the greatest submission to a man is your body. And that is the greatest form of submission because you allow him to dominate your body and your will. Men give access to relationships and marriage. Women give access to sex. Call it what it is. They're just going to say what it is. If he having it, it's because you agreed. Period.
And I
Period.
hope we having it a bunch. Oh, let me sorry. Sorry.
We trying to keep it's an FCC law against this. You gonna get us shut down.
Sorry.
So if you are the predominant voice of that house, what ends up happening is that psychologically, you will silence that man. You literally will attempt to mute the voice of justice in your husband. And it'll sound something like this. He's just talking. But because you don't like his voice of justice, your response is, you ain't my daddy. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to wear. You ain't finna control. Ain't nobody controlling me. I'm my own woman. I do it. No, you're not. You're a wife. And so that goes back to our conversations from last month, understanding how that dynamic works in a traditional setting. No, you're not your own woman. You're his woman. You're a wife. And so what will end up happening is that you will either successfully silence that man in his own house or he will leave you.
And they do leave.
And then you're going to be mad at the other sister because all she did was listened.
Correct.
And you're going to be trying to compare yourself, how you look versus her and why you did, and I'm this and this, and look at what he chose and you comparing, and you ain't even realize it don't have nothing to do with that. It is just the fact that somebody opened their ear and their heart to him and allow him to speak in a safe place. Now, let me give my disclaimer. Does this work in all situations? No, because
No.
there's some men out there that need a proverbial kick in the ass. I'll say it. They need they need somebody's whole foot, shoelaces, gum sole. They need the brand, the Nike swoosh. They need the checks. They need all of that shoved so far up in there that they will start running track with their teeth. Some of them need a good, but it's not all cases. When you have somebody that is showing up and they're trying, and all they're just saying is, I'm trying to figure out how to make this work. Because again, what's interesting is that when men feel genuinely safe, where they're not being judged, criticized, or treated like a problem that needs to be fixed, they'll respond with gratitude more often than not. They just simply want someone who will listen and create a space for them to be honest. Men don't need someone to solve their problems or to fix them. What they are looking for is someone that can help them find the words to share what they are experiencing and the freedom to express it without fear of losing respect and being seen differently. It's that simple.
But that I'm on. What I keep hearing is safe space. Safe space. Safe space. Safe space. What I want to put into the atmosphere is that just like women want a safe space, women say they deserve a safe space, men want and deserve a safe space too. And so in my mind, when you have chosen to do life with someone, you have chosen to be in relationship and partnership with someone, you have agreed that you would be that person's safe space. And so in particular for men, it is very important that they have a safe space, because if you are not their safe space, what other avenue do they have? And you expect them to treat you and come to you as their safe space. If you don't provide the space, if you don't provide the judgment-free zone, if you don't provide the opportunity for them to say what is needed, when it's needed, how they say it, what are you doing? And so I'm going to also submit for your consideration. That's why men deal with things in silence, because many men do not feel like they have a safe space.
One powerful observation, and Nick, you definitely can speak about this after. Women are often encouraged to process life and challenges through conversation, connection, and groups.
Men aren't able to do that.
Yeah, and men are taught to handle it in isolation, to deal with it alone. As a result, many men learn to just carry, and you just said it, carry their burdens in silence. And not to, come on, suck it up.
Yeah, men are taught to suck it up.
Man up. You a man. What you crying for? You crying. But it is never meant, watch this, to be a permanent way of carrying life's weight. Eventually, even the strongest person will reach their limits. The strongest person will break. And so when you look at people, the strongest people aren't those who carry it alone.
Right.
The strongest people are those who understand, I have to bring this to the light and I got to find a support system. One thing that I love, and I say this especially when I hear men communicating, which I have a dear friend, a dear brother, name is Corey Lemons. And one day I was just talking about something, and he was in his truck and I was standing outside of his truck and I was talking to him. And as I was just sharing something with him about life, he immediately got out of his truck and hugged me and said, "How can I support you?"
Because a safe space is not just about one person. A safe space can be anybody. A safe space can happen at any time. When you are in tune with the people around you, you are the safe space whenever the space is needed. And I think we need to get away from thinking you can only have conversations at home in the living room, sitting on the couch, whatever. Conversations can happen at any point in time because life happens at any point in time. So consider that a safe space is just that time where the conversation happens. That's the safe space.
I want to bring to your attention, and those of you, again, of course, you know what I am in the Lord's church. And so, but I'm more than just that. I'm also a man. So when you're talking about cover the whole gamut, husband, father, bishop, man, you cover however you want to cover it. But here's the thing. Judges 11, and I would urge everybody to read the whole chapter when you have an opportunity, Judges 11. But I want you to start with verse number 1, and here's what's the part that got my attention. Verse number 1 says, "Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor." Watch this. And the very next thing says, "And he was the son of a prostitute." Now, the very first aspect of that text opens up with God saying how he saw them. We preach this stuff in church all the time. "For I know the plans that I have for you. And before you were formed in the womb of your mother, I knew you and I predestined you and called you to be." And we say all that stuff and we quote all of that. So in verse number 1, God says he's a mighty man of valor and he was the son of a prostitute. And the problem with that is if you read that chapter from verse number 2 to verse number 30, he spent his whole life trying to prove what God said about him, because all people saw was that he was the son of a prostitute. His brothers didn't have anything to do with him because he was the son of a prostitute. People dismissed him. They said, "You ain't going to take a part in daddy's inheritance," because he was the son of a prostitute. As a matter of fact, he didn't pick his mama, his daddy did. So why y'all tripping on him? Because his daddy like hoes. I got hoes.
In different area code. Oh,
in different area. So why y'all tripping on him? Because his daddy like to go down to the red light district. Why y'all? But they treated him some kind of way, but it did not disqualify what God said about him. So I would love to submit this to every man. Stop negotiating what God has notarized. If God has already stamped his approval on you, you do not have to spend your life trying to prove that you are not the label that was placed on you. Because society, people will most certainly label you. They will put labels on you. God said he was a mighty man of valor and he was the son of a prostitute. And every time you turn around, he was negotiating, trying to say, "Okay, well, if y'all let me come and fight for you, and if I win, will y'all let me rule over you?" And then he went and negotiated even with God. "Okay, God, if you give me the victory, I'll offer you the first thing that comes out of my house to greet me." And he ended up sacrificing something that he did not, only because he was still dealing with unresolved trauma. Verses 2 to verse number 30, this man was still trying to prove that he was more than the son of a prostitute, because everybody rejected him based on that one label. And some of us, You have not been able to live down your mistake. You have not been able to live down your issue. You may not have, you may have had a problem, but it is not the sum total of who you are. Yeah, you may have messed up. Yeah, you may have been thrown into some situations that, if I had my choice, I'm telling you right now, if I had my choice, I'd be the son of Philip Banks and Vivian would be my mama, the original Vivian. Give me the dark-skinned chocolate dance with the tights on, doing the routine in the dance class. Give me that Vivian. Give me the Nuck If You Buck Vivian. Give me Wade in the Water. Give me that Vivian. I want her as my mama. I would have loved to take a limo to school where I had to tie my tie and get to turn my jacket inside out. I would have loved to be Fresh Prince and Home to Bel Air. I would have loved, that would have been my story. But unfortunately, I came from the cliff.
OC.
I'm talking Keith's Bazaar.
SOC.
We ain't talking about Big T. See, some of y'all know Big T Bazaar, but we know Keith's Bazaar. That's where it started.
I mean, I just think a lot goes to the wayside because there is a perception that men are not allowed to be human.
I love that.
That
perception. Yes.
The perception is men are not allowed to be human. They are not allowed to make mistakes. They are not allowed to have emotions. They are not allowed to ask for help. They are not allowed to just be human. And at the end of the day, we're all human. And so the reason mental health for men is so important is because we have to get back to the basics. We are all human. It matters how you feel. It matters how you react to something. It matters that you heal your trauma. It matters that you feel empowered enough to speak what your feelings are. It matters for you to have emotional intelligence. It matters for you to have emotional vocabulary. It matters. It all matters because at the end of the day, if the expectation is for the man to lead, the man to provide, the man to protect, how can he do any of that if he is not allowed to be human?
Herein lies the challenge. Here's what we have to consider. Becoming healed doesn't erase what happened.
It doesn't exactly.
It doesn't erase what happened, but it removes your blinders. So it most certainly calls you to see, and I say this all the time, healed eyes see differently. It allows a man to see himself in his authentic purpose, in his authentic self, who he was created and designed to be. Not the sum of his wounds, not the sum of his past, not the sum of his mistakes, but as someone created with value, equipped with gifts, called to fulfill purpose greater than his pain. So ladies, you have to understand something, because you're looking at this man with all this unresolved issues, all this unresolved trauma. Like you just said earlier, some men don't even know that what they went through is trauma. I don't even know how to identify, because here's the thing. I could have been in something so long that I normalized dysfunction. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it's supposed to be. I grew up in a neighborhood where there was a few of my, my cohorts, and we would all sit outside on the weekend, and we would all basically to some degree comfort each other, because we knew that one of our daddies was coming home soon, and we knew that a fight was going to be at one of the houses because he was going to come in drunk and beat on your mama. Mm-hmm. So between us, neighbors across the street, neighbors 2 doors down, one on this side, we all knew that now there was a guy that was on the other side of us named Mr. Green, and we all would have loved for our daddy to be like, Mr. Green, Mr. Green, get up, or Mr. Creek. You're going to get up. You're going to see him taking their family to church. You see him out there, and they cutting the grass. The wife is out there in the flower bed, and they working together in the neighborhood, the kids and all that. We would have love, but that wasn't our. So we comforted each other because we normalized dysfunction, because it's the norm. So when you have this man growing up in this situation, not understanding this degree of trauma, here's where the challenge is. Now you get this man and you're in the dating stage of life and you're trying to build life, and you want this man to be a provider that helps create financial stability. You want him to be a protector who offers safety and security. You want him to be a leader who makes decisions and provide direction. You want him to be a problem solver who can handle challenges in a crisis. You want him to be a source of strength during difficult times. You want him to be emotionally available while also remaining emotionally stable. You want him to be faithful and a trustworthy partner. You want him to be a good communicator who listens and understands, a supporter of his partner's goals, dreams, and growth. You want him to be a husband who loves sacrificially and consistently. You want him to be a father who is present, engaged, and nurturing, a role model with integrity and character, a friend who provides companionship and encouragement. You want him to be a romantic partner who keeps the relationship alive. You want him to be that spiritual leader in a faith-centered relationship. And you want him to be a peacemaker who helps navigate conflict and do it constructively. Yet this person has not ever seen it. They've never understood it. They've never known it. What can a man be if that's something he's never seen? A man cannot be what he cannot see. And most of the men who've developed these skills have been longing, yearning, desiring to be more, and they will seek this out in other sources, through help, through mentors. But when it came up in their own house and you get this man and you're expecting him to be all of this, baby girl, how can you expect him to be what he's never seen?
You can't.
And some of y'all, you better do your research before you start having, because I'm gonna say it and I ain't taking it back and I ain't scared of none of y'all. The reality is you better know who you opening up and allowing to deposit seed into your body and start having children with, because the truth of the matter is, and I am never will I endorse a man not being available and, caring and providing for his children. But the truth of the matter is sometimes their absence is better than the demons that are present with them. Sometimes them being absent is better. Sometimes you just have to pray that God will send somebody in your life because you did not choose wisely. And maybe it was your blinders, and that's a different show. But you chose what you chose. And you didn't do your research and your homework, and you ignored all of them red flags. Baby, the stop sign, you ignored it. The red light, you ignored it. The red flags, you ignored it. The red paint. Hell, some of these Negroes got a Japanese flag with nothing but a red dot on their back, and y'all ignored all of that. And you still, but that's what the book talks about, that says a promise I can keep, where a lot of women will choose single motherhood over marriage.
Yeah.
And you can't escape it, because I tell people often, you can't beat out Dana. You cannot beat out DNA. It's 2 strands of DNA in that child. And while you may want to, because I know they ain't going to like this, but here it goes. I love when the woman raises the child and the child grows up and turns out successful, and the child goes to the NBA and go to the NFL and become a successful businessman and a rapper and an entrepreneur. Mama stick out her titties with the chicken grease on it, and she is proud and say, look what I did. And she is celebrated because that single mother raised that baby. Well, I want you to be just as proud when little Nook goes and kills 5 people and they have to do life in prison. Because why is it that when the child is successful, the mother takes the credit, but when that child is messed up and screwed up in the head, it's the daddy's fault? The man is automatically blamed when something goes wrong. And this is the conversation that we don't like to have.
Well, and again, I think this is the conversation we don't like to have because men are not supposed to be human. Y'all are Superman. Superman
You know
wasn't
what's
human.
funny? You know what's funny about Superman? Have y'all ever seen some of them Superman movies when he was trying to rescue and save people, but his nemesis was throwing stuff at his way the whole time?
Yep.
He's trying to save the brush from going over the side of the bridge, and they throwing boulders at him and throwing stuff, and he's trying to save the people. Do y'all ever think that sometimes men feel like that? Like, I gotta save the day while you throwing attitude at me? I gotta save the day while you throwing disrespect at me. I gotta save the day while I ain't got no dinner. I gotta save the day. I'm just saying, only reason I'm saying it is because life is always throwing something at men. Mm-hmm. And it seems like we don't ever get the credit for what we do. We are always just browbeat for what we didn't accomplish. Mm-hmm. You had 10 things on your list, baby. You gave me a list of 10 things. I did 1, 2, and 3 perfectly. 4, 5, and 6, I knocked 90% of it out, got a little bit to go. Didn't start on 8 and 9, and 10 ain't nowhere in the picture. But you did not celebrate that I was able to successfully get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 done off of your list today. That is 6 things that you don't have to worry about tomorrow. And all you telling me is you didn't do 10. I wanted 10 done. What about number 9? You didn't have time. What was you doing that you couldn't get to number 9? I bet if you had an acceptance, if you would have got to, but I just took care of 6 things that you don't even have to worry about.
Correct.
While dealing with my own battles.
While dealing with my own stuff.
That's where that comes from with the Shakespearean play, King Henry IV, part 2. Uneasy is the head that carries the crown, but it was then translated to heavy is the head that wears the crown. It was translated, but that's where that comes from, because you have to understand that when you are in the place of authority and everything rests on your head, baby, listen, you better rub that man's head, especially if he got to make decisions for you.
Listen, so I just want everybody to just pause and consider.
Pause again, Granddad.
Men are human.
Say it for the people in the back.
Men are human.
Somebody logged in late.
Men are human. And their mental health is important because we cannot expect them to lead, provide, protect, minister. We can't expect them to do any of that if we don't give them the space to be human, to be vulnerable, to speak what is on their heart at the time it's on their heart. We have to be the safe space. You got 1 minute to close it out, Pat.
That's the 1 minute.
Oh,
that's the reality. Y'all, I can honestly say this, and this is just from experience. There's a lot of men that are really good in their core. They've just never had a space. that they can speak their truth. A lot of men are ashamed to say they've been molested. A lot of men are ashamed to say they've been abused. And let me just go ahead and say this. Not all men have been molested by other men. Mm-hmm. You got some boys that was molested by some of these perverted women. Why do you think some of them? Because the truth of the matter is, and I dare you to go check the facts. Most people that when they become adults who are very promiscuous, they were sexually assaulted as a child. Even though they was introduced to it in an improper way, it still awakened something in them. And a lot of boys even carry that unresolved trauma of even being sexually abused by an older woman. Come on now, he's 13 and she's 35.
I'm just saying.
But I've said this before, and I'm done. Here is the way society have us brain, how we're wired, and we don't see things inappropriately until somebody like me points it out. Watch this. If a woman, I'm just going to say mother, we're just going to use the mother. We're going to use, if a mother is nude in front of her children, nobody frowns on that. If a father is nude in front of his children, he's perverted.
Yep.
Y'all take that. Y'all take that with you. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. We don't know a lot of the damage that we are creating because society makes us think that some things that we're doing, y'all, it's just as wrong for you with your, put some clothes on in front of your son.
That's all we got. That's all we got today.
Nick was like, Alfred, she said, Alfred, because Nick about to go here. Don't do it.
Y'all, just men. If you don't have nobody else to talk to, reach out to us. Like,
I'm here.
I mean,
I'm for real. I'm for real. I'm here. I'm for real.
If you feel like you don't have nobody else, if you feel like you are unheard, unseen, nobody's listening, reach out to us. We have resources. We are available. We don't believe in leaving people to fend for themselves. I'm gonna put it like that. Your mental health is too important.
Yes.
That's it. That's all. Because sometimes all you need is somebody to listen. I don't know what else to say. It's been real, y'all. Peace. Thanks, Tay. I'm about to call you.
Ted Cruz.
I'm finna call you.